So great question that I get often is, why do I need a new flu shot every year? And let's talk about that a little bit. There's a few cool facts that we'll go over, and you might find them interesting. So influenza, there's 4 main types, A, B, C, and D. I believe A, B, and C are the only ones that affect humans. Usually the A and B are the common ones, and they cause more trouble. So usually you get a flu shot, it's a combination of different strains. And this right here is a 4-strain inactivated vaccine. What it means is there's 4 different strains that the CDC kind of went through and decided in this region these will be the most problematic ones. If they do a great job of picking the right strains, usually a lot less people get sick. If they don't get it right, we don't get as much coverage as we'd hope, but it's kind of an art, and I'm sure they work very hard on getting that right. So basically, flu viruses are made out of 2 main parts, the hemagglutinin antigen and a neuraminidase antigen. And these things, there's a bunch of different ones you hear, like H1N1, H2N3. These are different versions of these different antigens, and they kind of combine. And when they do that, it basically lets them evade the immune system. So there's 2 main things that we believe happen. Number 1 is antigenic drift. That's where these things kind of have small changes and they kind of fool immune systems. And then there's antigenic shift, where they actually recombine different ways. So the flu virus there's a bunch of different strains out there. They're moving around the world, passing person to person, and we believe there's a lot of animal reservoirs too, so they go back and forth. They usually say birds are the big one, but you hear the swine flu and things like that. So basically, this virus is constantly recombining itself, going around the world, and then around winter time it starts to kind of emerge in a region with some pretty virulent strains. And like I said, they kind of guess which ones they think, based off of a bunch of statistical analysis, which ones they think will cause the most havoc. What's interesting, I'm in Michigan, so for the last 2 years, I believe they included a Michigan-like strain. This year, the first one is Brisbane from Australia. It's a type A virus. I think the next one is Kansas type. That's also type A virus. And there's 2 flu B viruses. I believe it's Colorado and Phuket, which I think is in Thailand. So that's kind of what they predicted is going to cause the most havoc. Like I said, if they guess it right, it probably does a great service to the people. Every once in a while there's a pandemic. There's been like 3 or 4 massive cases throughout history where there's a very, very dangerous form of influenza, and hopefully try to avoid that. Influenza is pretty rough on people these days too, even if you don't get the pandemic strains. A lot of people end up in hospitals with a lot of medical problems. The elderly and kids especially are very susceptible to getting quite sick. So like I said, you got it. Basically there's different combinations, the antigenic drift and shift. And they recombine. You've heard about the 4 strains that we're kind of protecting against. There's a bunch of different manufacturers out there with different versions. We happen to have a 4-strain inactivated one. We just got them in stock. Basically, they take a virus and they actually destroy its active portions, so your body can recognize it and make an immune response without getting infected. I believe in the preservative-free ones. There hasn't been research one way or another to say that that's better or worse, but usually the single-dose ones don't have preservatives. I think some people that say they get sick after getting a flu shot probably has something to do with preservatives, but it's kind of up in the air. There's a lot of people who get the preservative ones and they're fine with it. There's a bunch of different brands, different ways to get it. They even have like if you don't like needles, they have a nasal mist flu vaccine. That one actually has a live virus, I believe. I don't know if they changed it, but it's actually a live one that your body fights off. And some people say that might give a better or more natural response to the virus, but that's all up in the air. Just some things to think about. We do have some in stock. They're usually covered by most commercial and Medicare insurances. If you don't have one of those, we can get you set up to get one at the pharmacy, and the other pharmacies or the other insurances should cover them soon. I'm John Swetech. Like, follow, subscribe, give us some comments, let me know what you think, and we'll try to keep them coming. Have a great day.